Hi, everybody. Welcome to January 8th. Oh my goodness, 2017 Sidelines Unite team call. I'm just so grateful to join forces with all of you. And the purpose of this call is to learn what's working, learn from each other, learn from our sidelines. And there's no school for network marketing. So this is our school coming together and sharing what works, right? So I'm just so excited. We have Kendall Stolz tonight with us to share a little bit about some insights that she's had in regards to prospecting. And the more I think about it, and it was just so profound the way Carrie Lyons just promoted to RVP. We were talking about that, how it was such a relationship building endeavor, and how really we don't have a business unless we have repeat customers, unless we have relationships and we built that loyalty. Go ahead, you guys. Let's see here. You guys are not muted. Let me see. Oh, Cheryl. Let's see.
Stephanie, are you muted?
Go ahead and just mute yourself if you can. Thank you, guys.
Excellent.
And so really, I just thought it was brilliant. Kendall and I have talked about her training a few times, and I just can't wait for you guys to hear it. And Kendall is a force to be reckoned with. Kendall, I admire you so much for the way that you have really, you're just a self-made success story. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about your background in the makeup industry and how that all worked. I know your story ties into your training too, and I just can't wait to hear from you. So take it away, ERVP Kendall Stolz.
Thank you so much. You are such a blessing, Tammy. I really appreciate it, and I'm super excited to share hopefully some wisdom, my story a little bit. I've been really thinking about this since last fall, and really talking about it. I love how we all come together and we all share our lives and our little tidbits. And I made notes, and I'm right at the age where I need these, and yet I hate to wear them. So I made some notes so that I made sure that I covered everything tonight. But I'm going to first share a little bit about me and my story in the beginning of my career as a makeup artist, and how I achieved that, and what made me kind of come up with this approach to translate it into my Arbonne business. So don't worry for all you note takers. If you miss something, I have a document which we can post and you can print off to your delight. And then I'm also going to share a couple of my insights from the book, Ego is the Enemy. If you are not reading this book, this is the book that Cecilia Stolz has recommended that we read. If you have not gotten this book, it is a game changer. It's amazing. So I'm going to start. I've been a makeup artist, and I've been a production makeup artist for 21, 22 years. And I started my career fresh out of college at 22. And let me back up a little bit. So it was a struggle for me to get out of where we lived, which was Monroe, Louisiana, when I was in high school. And I had to get myself good grades, and I had to get to college. Can you guys relate to that? Have you ever had to do something or you had to do it and you knew it was up to you? And so I had to do that. And so I chose to come to Cincinnati, Ohio, and go to the College Conservatory of Music. And I had to do that. And then once I got into college, yay, I got accepted. And then I had to get myself through college. And I had to do that on my own dime, studying, getting good grades, getting the scholarships and everything. And no one really helped me with that. Not only did no one help me, but I don't even really believe that my family gave me a good job. Like, it was just, I was raised that you just did it. You just do. And it's not so much that you are like doing it to seek for the approval, or that it's an expected thing, which is why I love Arbonne so much, because we just love on each other like incredibly. And that's something that I love from this experience and building my business with Arbonne. But then once I got through college, then I graduated and realized, oh, now I have to build a makeup career and in production. And so I came up with this approach 20 years ago because I had read a book by Harvey Mackay. And I don't know if any of you remember who that is, but he is a business guru and he wrote lots of books. And my brother had given me one of his books upon graduation of college, and I read it. And he gave a statistic about you have to have 7 touches for someone to go into a store to buy a product. So at the time, he had, I think he used maybe like some detergent, and said that customer has to see that product 7 times before they'll actually go to the Target or the store, the grocery store, to buy it. Not that it's on sale. And so I thought to myself, well, if it takes 7 touches for someone to go buy detergent, how many touches would it take? I'm selling me as a makeup artist. And so I made a list of how can I contact every producer, photographer, director, and get in front of them 7 times before they had a photo shoot and thought of me and called me. And so I thought about this. I've been thinking about this for a long time. And it was my brother who asked, he's like, you built a successful makeup artist career. How did you do that? And I told him, and he's like, you need to do that with Arbonne. You need to come up with a system where you are touching your clientele 7 times to make sure that they understand what you do, know you, love you, trust you. And when they run out of a product, maybe a competitor's product, that they think of you. And so that's something that served me well in my makeup career, and it is serving me well with my Arbonne career. So I'm kind of skipping all around, but I wanted to kind of go back to the Ego is the Enemy book. Okay. So I read this chapter, and it's called To Be or To Do. And remember how I said, there's a time in your life when you know that you just have to do something and you're going to do it no matter what because it's up to you, right? And so the author is telling a story about a military man that coaches his young soldiers. And he says, if you go that way, you can be somebody. You will have to make compromises and you will have to turn your back on your friends. But you will be a member of the club and you will get promoted and you will get good assignments. Or you can go that way and you can do something for your country and something for your Air Force and something for yourself, military man. You won't have to compromise yourself. You will be true to your friends and to yourself, and your work might make a difference to be somebody or to do something. In life, there's often a roll call, and that's when you have to make decisions. And when I read that passage, I really thought about my Arbonne business, because sometimes we get caught up in going for the glitz and we stop doing the do. And this is really a plan to make sure that you're doing the do to create the relationships that really will get you the results that you want. Because the lucky thing with Arbonne is when we work the plan and we do the business and we create those friendships and those bonds, Arbonne does reward us, right? And I love that he said, okay, that's where it is. I love this passage. If your purpose is something larger than you, to accomplish something, to prove something to yourself, then suddenly everything becomes easier and more difficult. Easier in the sense that you now know what it is you need to do and what is important to you. It's about the doing, not the recognition. Easier in the sense that you don't need to compromise. Harder because each opportunity, no matter how gratifying or rewarding, must be evaluated along strict guidelines. Does this help me do what I have set out to do? Does this allow me to do what I need to do. And when I read that, I really thought about when I was a beginning makeup artist, I didn't know anyone. I was 22-year-old ignorant girl calling these 50-year-old men to say, hey, I have absolutely no experience, but I'm a makeup artist, and I think you should hire me for a lot of money. And I'm Kendall. Hello. And I just did it. I picked up that phone and I made those contacts. And it was crazy because within 3 to 6 months, my phone was ringing off the hook. These producers and directors were calling for me. And a lot of times people now here 20 years later, even really 10 years, 5 years into my career, I really stopped doing so much promotion because people knew me. Like, people in this region know who I am, and they know if they need a makeup artist, they're going to call me. So I love that because I just got to business and I did it. And that's what built a solid, strong foundation for my makeup business. And this is how we're going to do it with our Arbonne businesses. Okay. So I love this because I can I share the screen, Tammy? I think, yeah. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So here is my document. And can you guys all see that? Give me a thumbs up if you can. Can you see it? Awesome. Okay. So this is what I wrote out when I was thinking about how do I get in front of my network 7 times to educate them about who I am, what Arbonne is, and what I'm trying to do. And so I just wrote it out so that my team and anyone could follow it and do it according to, you know, how they want to work their network. But I tell you, man, this is so key. So it's all about the personal touch. In today's market of so much online and that it like pollutes your Facebook feed and your social media feed, this is really about 7, I should put, personal touches. This is about creating personal relationships. This is not about blasting your Facebook feed with Arbonne or your Instagram with Arbonne. This is about creating personal relationships so that when your friend Karen runs out of moisturizer that she was buying at that other store, she's going to say, I don't want to go to the mall anymore. I'm just going to call Tammy. She's been telling me about what she's doing, and I'm going to call her. I know she has something for me. So the first thing is just call. I mean, it's the simplest, yet the hardest, right? This thing weighs like 10,000 pounds sometimes. You're like, I'll just text them. Oh, nobody ever answers. I'm just going to text. You have to call. You have to get it voice to voice, emotion to motion. And obviously, you know, ask them if it's a good time, deliver your 60-second story. If it's a really good friend, you can just say, hey, I just want a couple of minutes to chat. This is what I'm doing, and I'd love to share it with you. I definitely follow the GoPro system. So it's definitely the if I, would you. So if I emailed you a video about Arbonne, would you take a look at it and let me know what you like best? Follow those GoPro steps. So email or text that video, because I like to start everyone's education about Arbonne off with the opportunity video. Again, if you don't start with the opportunity video, then where are you going to go? If they say no for the products, where are you going to go? Okay, thanks. So if you start with the opportunity video and they say no, oh my gosh, you used to have so much places to go. You could be like, no problem. Arbonne is not a fit for everybody. It's not the opportunity for everybody. Thank you so much for taking time to watch one of these videos. I would love to sit down with you and just pamper you with some products. How about that? And then they're like relieved. Phew. You know, oh, now she just wants me for products, right? No problem. They're going to fall in love with them, and then they're going to be telling all their friends. And then pretty soon, because you have kept in contact with them, they're going to be calling you to say, I didn't get a raise, and I know you're doing so well with Arbonne. I want to reach out and talk to you now because I really love this hand cream. It's happening right now in my business. My friend just ordered 5 hand creams. She's totally blown away. And I know she'll be on my team. So obviously you're going to email that video or text it, and you're going to follow up and call and say, what did you like best about that video? Why is that important to them? You're really asking questions and listening because you want to get into the conversation. Obviously giving a compliment on their strengths or, observation is a great way to give someone a stroke. And we all want that. Share your excitement for Arbonne and the opportunity, but don't fire hose them. Okay. It's very important. You have to be excited, but don't give too much. And then ask them, just say, hey, of course a business like Arbonne isn't a fit for everyone, but I would be interested in meeting to talk about that. Would you be open to meeting up to chat about it more, or probably not? So you might notice the or probably not question. When you ask or probably not, it softens the question, because basically you want them to say yes or no. The maybe is where you're not sure where to go, right? So you want a soft way, a loose way, a casual way for them to answer. Or probably not is a great way to kind of soften that yes/no question. So, you might meet up, you might not, who knows? But, ask them to try sample the product. We have 400 products. Why aren't we sending out 10 samples a week? I don't even know why. I don't send out 10 samples a week, but I'm going to next week because I keep thinking about it. Why am I not sending out samples? It's like the drop kits. Do you guys have, I'm reaching back. Have you guys ordered your Fizz-Stick bookmarks yet? Oh my gosh. You can put a Fizz-Stick on this like information bookmark thing and mail it in an envelope. And they would love getting a Fizz-Stick in the mail. What a great thank you. What a great touch, right? Just randomly. If you send them a sample, or I should say when you send them a sample, you're going to follow up about that sample. Oh my gosh, did you love the Fizz-Stick? Yes, it bubbled in my cup. I loved it. Gave me such energy. Oh my gosh, doesn't it? I love it. Hey, how would you like to gather a few friends and, host a little get-together? We could talk about the business. We could talk about skincare, nutrition. It'll be a fun, gals night. And just, ask them. That's all you have to do. And then, regardless of what they say, I want you to send them a thank you card. So when you send someone a physical thank you card, yes, it does take time. Yes, you're going to have to write out with your hand a thank you card. Yes, make a template to shorten your time. Add a little personal touch. I love talking to you on Tuesday. I so value your time. I appreciate it. Either send them the same sample that they liked, because someone told me that once. They said, oh, if they like the RE9, I send them another sample, because then they use it again and then they love it so much that it's like they love it double. If they didn't like it, send them something different. If you don't have another RE9 sample, pick something from an opposite category. I always try to do this. If someone buys skincare, I try to give them nutrition. If they buy nutrition, I try to give them skincare, because I don't want someone that's just buying nutrition, and I don't want somebody that's just buying skincare. I want everyone to be buying all across the board of the catalog, because there's so much opportunity for them to urbanize their home that they're not even aware of it. To this day, I still have people say, I didn't know Arbonne had nutrition. I'm like, oops, I guess I need to share more of the nutrition, even though I share a lot of the nutrition. And then here is number 7. So obviously invite to the next event. So either ask them to come to a dream team appointment, and it doesn't have to be fancy. It can be you and your upline. If you don't live near your upline, it can be just you. and someone on a phone call at a coffee shop, and you guys are just trying the products and talking about real life and business and your hopes and fears. You know, you could invite them to a car presentation, a Zoom call, a team event, a makeup event, a recorded call. Invite them to the next event, because it's all about using these third-party validations. So, you know, the recorded calls and the events are third-party, but so are the samples, you guys. We are doing the touching, we are creating the bond, but we're letting the product do the business, because they fall in love with the product and us. We are two separate things. Your identity is not wrapped up in the product. You are your identity. So they're going to love you, and they're going to bond with you, and they're going to think about you, because you're going to be like, hey, Kristen, how's that sweet baby doing? Are you sleeping at all, girl? Are you just mainlining, you know, fizz sticks? You know? Yes. And so they're going to love us. And if they say yes to the products, awesome. But if they say no to the products, that's okay, because that's not us. Right? But we still want to be bonded to them, because I'll tell you what, if you don't bond yourself with people who haven't said yes in the 7 touches to products, you're making a huge mistake. Don't only have friends that use Arbonne, because someday those people are going to come around. I have people all the time who have never used my products. One of my friends just got diagnosed with diabetes. She has turned me down for Arbonne for hosting, connecting, using everything for 5 years. She developed diabetes, and I said, hey, look, I love you, and I want to share the nutrition information. Can I get you on a call? Can I get you some information? I just mailed her the protein packets, and she loves them. 5 years, she has told me no. 5 years, she's still been my friend. So don't give up on people that don't say yes right away, but keep them in your circle. Keep them as your friends, because they're your friends. That's the whole point of this business. Tammy and I are such great minds. We think alike. We came up with some of the same statistics today that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm going to stop the share. Here's the thing about following up. This system that I just outlaid for you for 7 touches is not about follow-up in the sense of someone buys a product from you and you call them 3 days later to make sure they got it, and 7 days later to make sure they're using it okay, and 3 weeks later to make sure they like it and everything is fine. This is not what this is about. This is about following up and touching your network in a consistent basis. You might do the 7 touches in a month, or it might take you a year. Hopefully it's not a year. You need to track all of that, but you need to do it. And when you're done doing the 7 touches, guess what you get to do again? The 7 touches, because it's consistency. I actually underlined another passage from the book, which I love. And it said, oh my gosh, now I can't find it, of course, when I need it. But it was about consistency pays. You can shoot up and have no foundation, but if you are consistent and you're laying that foundation, it will pay back and it will be solid. So here are statistics. This is kind of frightening. And you have to excuse me for my voice. 48% of sales people never follow up with a prospect. Now, we're all in a safe place. Ladies and gentlemen, raise your hand if you have done that. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. Who is honest that you guys haven't made a call? You forgot, you lost that person's contact, right? We've all done it, and we're all going to stop doing it right now, this month, 2017, getting our act in gear, as Rita would say. So 25% make a second contact, then they stop. I called her again and left a message, and she just didn't return my call. She must hate me. No, she's busy. She's not thinking about you at all. 12% make 3 contacts, then stop. Yep, totally true. I have been playing phone tag with a woman from Columbus, who I'm desperate to meet. I haven't even met her, and I am desperate to meet her. I've been playing phone tag with her for about 9 months. I call, she doesn't answer. She calls me back. And we play phone tag. We play text tag. You've got to follow up. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. So think about that, right? Only 10% of us go past 3. Because I think we think it's us, that they're rejecting us. They're not rejecting us. People are busy, you know? People have all sorts of things going on in their lives. So here are the statistics that I found were really cool. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 2%. So just imagine that, you guys, 2%. So if we do a party and that's our first contact and we only have 2% of sales, how much are we leaving on the table? 3% are made from the second contact. 3%. 5% are the third contact. So think about your preferred clients that have ordered 3 times. That's only 5% of your potential business, right? 10% are on the 4th contact. And 80% are made from the 5th to the 12th contact. So the 7 touches, personal touches, does work because that's where we want to live. We want to live in the 80%. The 80% is where we can build solid foundations of repeat clientele. I guarantee you that we all know already, everyone in our network, we're all probably already connected to our new team and our growing teams. We just have to ask and educate. So I know it was a lot that I threw at you and I talked so quickly. I believe that this is what set me up to have a 20-year makeup artist career where people call me. And I believe that this is the way to set a foundation for a strong Arbonne business and a strong network of people who contact you to either do business with you, shop from you, or give you referrals. So Tammy, thank you so much for letting me come on and share my 7 touches document.
I love this. I know this is so helpful. And it's really just, my whole thought and goal for this year for the Sidelines Unite team calls is to just get back to the basics and master the basics. All of the people at the top of any field has mastered the basics. And Cecilia Stolz just reiterated it with 2 concepts. And if you can just get this dialed in, we're done, but it just takes a lifetime to work on that. The things that set one person apart from another are our habits and our self-talk. So if we can really work on what the kinds of things we're saying to ourselves, but also our habits, and our habits meaning just getting better at what we know we need to do, getting better at our skills, getting better at talking to people about the business, getting better at inviting, getting better at following up. I was looking at your touches and I'm like, oh, a lot of times I've gone through 1 and 2 just fine, but then I don't really follow up well to say, how did you like the video? What did you like about it? Why? And like getting in right there. I was like, ooh, I just broke the chain right there at number 3. Like, this is stuff where I can get stronger. Yep. And I appreciate all this information that you shared. And it is, honestly, Kendall, this isn't new. This is just getting better at our skills of follow-up. And thank you for giving us a nice system to follow. I love the bookmark with the fizz too. That was great. So
yes,
thank you. And I was thinking about about everything that you're sharing today, and how, so often, and for me too, this was me when I first came into Arbonne. I was a little gun shy because I just didn't want to sell to my friends. And
Right.
it just felt, I don't know, it was stopping me for some reason to talk about the business. I didn't want to sell to my friends.
Yeah.
And once I got over that whole idea of this is a transactional business, I'm out to get the sale, I'm out to, get. No, I had to just take away, there's no agenda, there's only love. I'm just going to talk to them and see if there's a fit. And I think that's just such a huge thing when we can move from just a transaction to sharing our mission, because you guys, we have an amazing mission. that and it's like we get hung up, right, on being stuck on how to get a sale. But how about if we share the mission, and then the sales are going to flow from that. And so here's our collective mission. This is Jerry Roisentool. I'm going to quote again. Did you know there's an injustice in our country that the skincare, cosmetic, and food industry have done to our families by allowing toxic ingredients to remain in their products because they care more about profits than they do about people? I'm building a global business that's helping to improve the health, wealth, and well-being of this world, one family at a time. And Kendall, I couldn't help thinking about you. I know how much you care about your family. And I'm just wondering if you'd meet with me for 20 minutes to hear if this might be a fit for you.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'd love to see you.
Sweet people into our mission, they're going to have the same mission as us. They're going to be happy to give us referrals. They're going to be talking to their neighbors. They're going to want to have their neighbors over to, listen to what our mission is. Does that make sense? So it really, I hope that helps everyone just to move from a transactional business to a transformational business when we're sharing our mission. Because here's the deal, once we're clear on our mission, every product sold becomes about something far greater than just a transaction. We're making the world a better place because we're giving people other options. We get to teach people how to vote with their dollar and keep their families safer and healthier. Like, ooh, who's with me on this? So, so thank you so much, Kendall. And I just want to open it up for any questions that we might have. You can just unmute yourself if you have a question.
And I want to add, you guys, over the holiday season, I have a neighbor who never would do anything with Arbonne, wouldn't buy it, wouldn't host. No, it had nothing to say. Finally, she reaches out. She's like, I'm looking old and I need stuff. She becomes a preferred client, shops big time, and then starts saying to me, she follows me on everything, comments on everything, shares my stuff now. And she says, oh, I have a friend you have to meet. She's kind of like a hippie, just like you, but she's super duper smart. And she just doesn't want to work at her job anymore. And I think she'd be awesome at what you do with Arbonne. And I keep talking to her about it. And I'm like, for 5 years, you wouldn't give me the time of day about Arbonne. And now you're selling me and Arbonne to your friends. Yay! This is what we want out of our networks.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Sounds like she needs to be a consultant.
Well, you never know.
I wanted to ask you, this is Christine. And I just thank you very much for being on this call and just pouring into us. It's such a blessing to have you and to share with us and just to get us back on track. I think we all need to kind of do that readjustment every once in a while. But when you put out, let's say, the person's said, send me the video, and they haven't gotten back to you, and you have tried to get a hold of them even a couple of times, when is it too long where you think that it's a cold issue and have to kind of start over? What would you do with that?
I know what I would say.
You go first, Tammy, because I'm kind of caught.
I would wait for them to say, don't contact me anymore.
But if you've waited a while to try to connect with them again, say if it's been a few months.
It's okay. Just say that. Hey, I know it's been a while since I've contacted you. I'm just reaching out. I don't know if you're still thinking about that RE9 skincare, but I'm
Yeah.
just,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't want to, you think about, well, what was that you sent me? Huh? What are you talking about? So
Yeah,
I guess that would be actually a blessing too.
because we want to update them. Like, as you recall, I met you a year ago at a vendor event. I know it's been a while, but I remember you saying, I have written here that you said you were having
Right.
some, problematic skin issues, digestion issues, whatever. And I'm wondering if, you know what I mean? Like, I would just point out all the obvious, like,
Right.
and then they can say, I don't remember who you are, please don't contact me. Or they can say, you know what, I'm so glad you called, because
Right. That's a good point.
I'm
That is a
even
very
worse
good,
now.
that's a very good point. That's a very good
So,
point. Cheryl, yeah, that was a good point too. Send another one, she said. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm challenged to do it. So, because you kind of wonder, do you just forget about them? I don't want to forget about anybody.
I just hold in my head, and I really, really have practiced this self-talk, that the people who have crossed my path are there for a reason.
Yep.
And these are my unique contacts. Nobody else has the same contacts that I do. Nobody else has the same group of people that I've met and that I have in my phone or in my Arbonne files, And,
Yes.
and yeah, if they're meant to be in your business, they will be, but we just have to do our job, our part, by following up and reaching out.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else? Does anybody else have comments or questions for Kendall? Go ahead, Melinda.
Kendall, thank you. I love a system. I think it's a safety net for me.
Mm-hmm.
What is your recommendation for somebody who's tracking it manually?
I'm a paper girl, so I am tracking it manually. Technology kind of eludes me. I am committed to getting better, but I am look, this is my paper calendar. I'm a list paper calendar girl. So I actually was going to try to create a sort of a checklist boxy sort of thing, and get that together for myself. But I know that when I was a makeup artist and beginning at 22, I literally henpecked it out on a typewriter, and then I took a ruler and drew a line down 7 times, and then I would make a check mark with dates.
Yeah. Yep.
That was my system, and it worked. Some people are super techie, and they can do it all through CRM, but I'm a paper girl. I don't know, it might be the 43-year-oldness of me or the artist part of me, but I'm a visual girl. So track it. Just paper. Just make a list.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And, don't ever think it's been too long. I mean, I've been playing phone tag with this one person from Columbus who I don't know, got a referral for 9 months. She keeps taking my call. She hasn't texted me back to say, stop calling me. In fact, I have never in my 6 years had anyone be mean to me in the no, ever. I mean, think about it. It might have hurt me in the beginning because I was wrapped up that they were saying no to me, but they're really saying no to Arbonne. But they weren't mean about it. Have you guys ever had anyone just be mean? No. Everyone's just like, no, thank you. Not right now. Life is busy. Check back. But they're friendly. People
be mean and then they apologize.
Well, that doesn't count if they apologize.
I just came back at them with love,
That's right, because you can tell right away that they're just stressed out. So just keep asking; they'll tell you when they're done. So
I would like to challenge everybody with an assignment, a little homework for this week. Are you okay with that?
Ooh, I love homework.
Because I was sitting here thinking, I was a person, the girl at work, talked to me about Arbonne products. They sounded great. I just ordered through her. I didn't ever, push a button. I didn't ever put in an order for myself. She would just call me and say, hey, do you need some more mascara? I'm like, sure, whatever. And it was 3 years of that. She would call me like every other month, something, because I know what she was doing. She was trying to build up her 250 orders so she could order the 125 for herself.
Yeah.
So that's what she would do every couple of months. And now I know what she was doing. But she, after 3 years, she invited me to a Discover Arbonne. Do you have prospects? Do you have prospects sitting right in your web stats who order twice a year? Have you ever reached out to them and offered to send them a video of a DA? Ask them if they'd like to hear more. Ask them if their circumstances have changed. Would they like to come to a nation meeting, a DA with you? We have a bunch coming up. They're Facebook live streaming now too, so that's something to think about. Yep. So there's your homework, to go into your own web stats and talk to people you've never offered the opportunity to, or if you did, it was a long time ago.
Yep.
Never followed up. So there you go.
Here's the power, a visual power for you guys about follow up. So my friend Mary Belperio, who's right there. Mary, can you wave? So there she is. I met her my first 3-4 months of my business 6 years ago. She's hosted for me. She was a preferred client 6 years ago. Whoops. And she hosted. She was a preferred client. She, shopped with me. She hosted a couple more times. I kept asking her about the business. I asked her husband about the business. We became friends. Our girls played together like crazy. It's amazing how our husbands get along. And she finally came to me, I don't know, a couple months ago and says, okay, I want to do the business. And here she is. And she's one of my new district managers, registered for the trip. She's going for it. And it's like, there you go. There's your 7 touches, keep the relationship going proof. You just don't know when things change.
I love it. Go ahead, Susan.
Hi, you guys. I don't want to be like the negative bleh, but I had a call today from a former Mercedes-Benz salesman that I adore. I mean, he's just like, he was one of the ones that was really instrumental in me quitting smoking cigarettes, because he gave me a ride, or he let me drive a Mercedes-Benz to my job at the city I worked for, because we were having a Mercedes-Benz kind of meeting there, and he had some cars ready for us to test drive, and he had to drive my car to my work, and I got to drive the Mercedes car there, and I knew he was in my car and he could smell cigarette smoke, and I was so embarrassed. And so we talked about it, and he said, I used to smoke. And anyways, long story short, I called him today to invite him to a healthy living class, because I said, has Diane ever invited you, or have you been to any Arbonne demonstrations or presentations? And he said, no. He said, all I've been, exposed to is, the women coming here, and no one has ever bought a car here. No one has ever won, or gotten to that level. And he just was barraging me with all these negatives. And I was proud of myself, because I didn't break down. I really felt so strong enough in my convictions that I was defending Diane, I was defending Arbonne, defending the products, and saying, giving my personal testimony and why I cannot afford to not use Arbonne. And he was just, so it was really good practice. So I guess what I wanted to share was, even if you do have the naysayers or you do get a negative, I was sitting here almost crying, oh my gosh, do I share this story or not? And I'm like, no, I need to share this, because it was such a learning experience, and just telling you guys about it is huge for me, because I was questioning, what am I doing? And he started going on and on about Amway and how these people just treated him like crap, and he had all this negative stuff about that. And I was like, wow. I was on the phone with him for an hour and a half.
So, so what is his name?
His name is Dave.
Can you invite Dave to Carrie Lyon's car presentation?
Well, I would love to, and I didn't have the information, but I told him, I said, as a matter of fact, one of our RVPs in Oakland County is getting her Mercedes-Benz, and I said, it's going to be my first car presentation because I've never been to one yet. And I didn't want to ask him because he's no longer a salesman for Mercedes because he wasn't getting what he needed there either. So I think he's got some negative feelings about the whole Mercedes thing, and you know what I mean? And
so Susan, I just want to say congratulations. You just had a successful sales transaction. You asked a question and you got a no.
Yeah.
That is success.
Amen.
Maybe land is the purgatory. Yes or no is success. Okay. And, sometimes people are not okay in their life and they decide that you're the person that they're going to make feel not okay. And they do that so that they can feel good. And sometimes that's what happens. And you just have to say, gosh, I understand where you're coming from. I can hear the frustration in your voice. It sounds like you're a no. And gosh, I just wish you well and have a beautiful day. And just like Tammy says, kill him with kindness. Just love on him because obviously he's stressed out about something. And these people always, it always happens. It always will. And sometimes we'll be those people.
Well, you know what?
And that's when we have to go, oops, my bad.
Well, you know what? I think the reason why he kept going on and on, he had to keep making negative excuses because he felt bad saying no to me because we have such a good relationship. I don't know. Cause we always end on a good note and I've always had good, conversations with him. You know what I mean? There's never been anything bad. But so I just chalked it up to his own personal,
Yeah. Well, it was a successful day for you, I would say.
I love it. And I love what you said. Maybe land is purgatory. That's awesome.
It is. So good. Maybe land is purgatory. You're like, where do I go with this? Where am I going?
You're like, oh, what are they? We're trying to make up all these stories in our head. We just need to go ask.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Through our 7 touches. You're amazing. Thank you, Kendall. You've already built such an incredible organization. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Kendall promoted out Christine McGilvray, and she promoted out her sister Karen. I mean, oh my goodness, Kendall is right. Already has this amazing success line brewing, and I can't wait to see your journey unfold. And I'm so grateful to lock arms with you, and we're all growing to the top together. Every single person on the screen, you guys, we're the next wave of MVPs, and I'm going to say that until it all happens.
That's right.
We're going together, and I love you all so much. Let's just reach out to people. Let's just, include people in our collective mission because we are part of something so special, and the world needs that. People are sitting at home feeling isolated and sad, and they just want to be part of something and made to be felt important. So we have this gift, and we have our 7 touches that we're going to put into practice and get really good at the basics. Love you all so much. Thank you for joining us. Can't wait to see you again next week. Woo! The Sidelines Unite calls are back.
Yay. Good night.
Kendall. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.